So hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is the Peugeot special series that I've been talking about since my Corvette review. So what we have here today is the 2016 Peugeot 308 HD Allure hatchback that's been tuned, stage 1 tune. I'll get to that in a bit. So I'd like to thank my brother JR for making this review possible. Yeah, he's buying a lot of cars. I mean, as you can see, there's another Peugeot that's also his that will come soon to my channel, but let's start with this first. See it here for the first time. Yes, this may be a 2016 Peugeot. I mean, the looks of it for a Peugeot, it aged really well. The new Peugeots now that we get here in our market, yes, they're all SUVs. There's no hatchbacks nor wagons yet, but this one aged really well. I mean, yes, it's black and there's a lot of chrome, but I gotta say, it suits the car really well. I mean, it's the same with the newer Peugeot 3008 and 508. There's a lot of chrome on them. Same with this one. There's narrow and clean body lines here on the hood as well on the side profile. And as Peugeot say, these are LED lights that can last forever. One thing I found annoying, just being honest, the turn indicator is down here. So similar like to a Kia or Hyundai, the newer Hyundais. And then ground clearance is 134 millimeters, which is on par with its competition. So this competes with the tune now. This competes with a BMW 1 Series, and probably I'll compare to a Abarth 595. So I have reviews on both of those cars. Link of those will be in the description down below. Continuing here in the exterior, unlike the modern Peugeots we get here now, this one has a very smaller gear. So it's not like this designed, I mean, all the way here. It's not in your face. This one's very narrow. I like it. And unlike some of the newer Peugeots now, I think I've never reviewed one yet. There's nice Peugeot embossment here in front of the grille. So here at the rear of the Peugeot 308, it does look like its wagon counterpart, the SW. And open the boot up. And there's also blue HDI badge there and there. I'll get to that in a bit. So open her up. So it's on par with the competition. There is a lot of space here, as you can see. There's a thick tonneau cover as well here. And the load lip is about that much as the size of my hand, but it's not too bad. So total boot space here with all the seats up is 470 liters, and then when you fold all the seats down, it's 1,309 liters. So on par or just a little bit better than the competition, but way more spacious than an Abarth 595. And not much toys here in the back, literally just one light there on the right side, and there's an opening here in the center in case you want to carry longer stuff here in the back. I just found there's a hidden 12-volt socket over here. That's about it here in the exterior and the boot of the Peugeot 308. Something I noticed as well when I was opening this, when you close the tailgate, it sounds really solid. Probably one of the best I've heard as well. So this is the interior of the Peugeot 308, and only the second Peugeot on my channel, but so far so good with the door studs. Listen to this. Starter up. Oh, this is the bummer I found only. Just being honest, if I can find the key right here. Yeah, you have keyless entry, but there's no stop button. Anyway, just a small nitpick. I also love there's a chime if you leave the lights on. Here's a clip of it. Ergonomics here. I mean, Peugeot probably have the best ergonomics in any European brand or in any car in general. And also something I noticed, put this up first for my driving position. I did notice when I sat in here, since I've driven the 2019 Peugeot 508, I wasn't a vlogger yet that time, but I was able to drive one. I noticed this steering wheel. It's not the square shape yet. I understand now with all of the motoring journalists who were able to review a lot of Peugeots that it does get in the way of the instrument cluster here. I mean, the instrument cluster is somewhat the same. I love it. The tachometer's on the right side but goes the other way, but their speedometer is on the left side, but it's still conventional where it goes. So I found that very quirky. And then here in the steering wheel, oh, it's hard, it's girthy, it's the Euro type. It's a little bit shiny, but that's not as shiny as I would say like BMWs. And then something I noticed immediately, bummer, I thought this had paddle shifters, but I did notice here in the cabin, it's super clean. There's just few buttons here in the center where your heating and ventilating function, and this is where you lock the door as well. Similar to a Chevrolet Tracker, just saying. And yeah, here in the center console, as you can see, it's very sturdy. And their gear levers, like every other Peugeot, it's similar to the Peugeot 508 diesel sedan that I've driven. Also, I have a review on that. You know where to find it. To change up a gear, it's pull, and then to change down gear, it's push. So it gives it a more race car vibe. But unlike that Peugeot 508's AMT transmission. This one is a conventional 6-speed automatic transmission. An E80, as JR said, so it's like a fuel efficient transmission. That's what he said to me. And then I was wondering where the cruise control functions here. So the steering buttons here on the right side is for your infotainment functions, and on the left side it's volume controls only. Oh, okay. So yeah, not much buttons here, but it's very clean to look at. I found the cruise control functions, it's actually a stock, so that's really interesting. Massive air conditioning vents, they're long all throughout the cabin, and in here in the infotainment system, it's kind of looks like a C-clamp. Okay, the infotainment system is a 7-inch touchscreen. There's not much to play. There's no Apple CarPlay, no Android Auto, but there's Bluetooth mirroring. But it's very easy to understand. You have to control the air conditioning system to the touchscreen here. There's no buttons here whatsoever, which I found weird at first, but when I was able to test drive the Peugeot 508, I've had no issues with it whatsoever. So that's a surprise to me as well. And then going back here on the left side of the dashboard, you have a long air conditioning vent. And then door guard, yeah, it's mixed with soft materials and plastic here and there. This one's polyurethane, this one's leather. And then I do love the grab handle here. I mean, if you can see that, that's so cool. And then you have a cubby space and bottle holders on either side. My water jug fits, surprisingly. Oh, there's a nice cup holder here. It's my water jug, and also there's a cooling feature on it. And then center console box, it's small. And then glove box, okay, that's pretty big. And then above here you have your safety reminders, and then LED lights, and then visors. There's vanity mirror with lights on them. That's good. They're thick, but let's see. Anyway, so that's about here in front of the Peugeot T08. I'll show you the rear seat. And like every other Peugeot, if you leave the key on and open the door, it does a lot of weird noises. Then here in the rear of the Peugeot T08, okay, the door sides in front sound better, but the one here in the back is not too bad. I mean, there's not much space here, but you only have 2 seat pockets. Space here in the back surprisingly good. I mean, getting in though, the pillar might get in the way, but I'm a skinny person, there's no issue for me. Feet room, knee room, and headroom is still alright for me. I'm 5'4", by the way. And then you have smaller cubby space and bottle holders on each side. They don't fit my water jug anymore. And then central armrest, there is. Oh, it's really wide. Oh yeah. Okay, they fit this thin one, but my other water jug will definitely not fit in here. And also the party piece of this one, you can open the center hatch here. So in case, as I said earlier, you can put longer items here if you want. And then here in the back, not much toys here. There's a weird storage space here, but it does fit a phone. Anyway, at least there's something in here. Transmission tunnel is this tall. It's not that wide at least. And then you have 2 ISOFIX anchor points on each side. Oh, there's lights here. Okay, I didn't even notice that earlier. So that's about it here in the interior of the Peugeot T08. Let's go to the engine. It's so quiet, bro. So this is the engine of the Peugeot T08. This one's tuned, by the way. So stock figures is 120 or 150 horsepower, and the torque is 300 Newton meters of torque. Since being stage 1 tuned, this according to JR, this one produces now 200 horsepower and around more or less 400 Newton meters of torque. And other notable upgrades besides the engine, the stage 1 tune, the AdBlue's been deleted. This has Brushed Europa horns, the LED fog lamps as well down here, and the aluminum door seals. I thought these were standard, so that's actually an upgrade as well. Enough of me talking, time to scare you. Driving the Peugeot T08. Okay, something I noticed immediately. Yes, I mentioned this is only a flat bottom steering. It's not the square shape of the modern Peugeots now. I can say it does feel like one. The steering is so direct and sharp, like medium feel with it. It's just right smack in the middle. It's no BMW, but I can say the handling is very, very close. And as well as the suspension of this. Like the Peugeot 508 diesel sedan that I've driven a few months ago. It's on the firm side, but it's still no means an uncomfortable car. It still soaks up the bumps and humps pretty well. And first impressions just driving this, I did notice, I forgot I was driving a diesel engine. Yes, you can hear the diesel drone, but that's how good the NVH of this Peugeot T08. I mean, you don't hear it that much. And look, As you can hear from the door, even from the tailgate, everything sounds so thick. And I'm so happy to drive this because, just being honest, the 508 was a single clutch transmission. This one's a regular torque converter, the E80 something. It's way better, gotta say, over slow speeds like this. And no idea, manual mode, sport mode. Okay, we're here now. Everyone goes in. Oh my. Okay, that was just a glimpse. And I didn't shift up, it automatically upshifted. Oh my god, the torque's crazy. Sheesh. Right, let's do that later on. Right, either in drive or manual mode, it's still surprisingly responsive. There's just a little bit of a delay only in drive, but it's not that noticeable, to be honest. It's really good. And this being a front wheel drive hatchback, it does feel really similar to the 160. That's just my point of view, by the way. This is probably the 308s, these 2016 models, even the wagon that JR is also getting. I wish I had that much money. They're really underrated. I know you see them here and there often, but I always tend to look because they're there's something about it. There's some like charisma around old Peugeots. Even when I drove the old 508 diesel sedan, I love driving that thing. I would still look at the old ones to this day. There's just something with the flair of old Peugeots, I gotta say. I mean, the modern ones are really good as well. How they look, I do like the 2008. Even JR said it's not as good as a BMW 1 Series, but it's very close. I agree. Yes, it's no Abarth 595 manual, which I keep simping about. But the torque of this is crazy. Of course, it's a diesel engine. And this is what's cool with this diesel 308. It's fuel efficiency. It is pretty nuts. I don't know how to find it though. Okay, there's no indication yet, but okay, there's an open road here. Wow! Wow! Wow, it's crazy. No hot hatch, but you can tune it and make it like a hot hatch. This is crazy. Going back to what I said with the diesel engine, it is pretty fuel efficient. Even on his experience, he can do around what, 600 kilometers in one tank or even more. This is nuts.
More like 900.
More like half. If you're light-footed like him, not me. Yeah, 14.7 kilometers per liter. That's the same as the Mirage I drove earlier. What the freak? And yes, being a diesel engine, the torque, we're up to high speeds in no time whatsoever. This is nuts. Yeah, the diesel, like all diesel engines I've driven, they're punchy AF. They're great. And yes, as you saw earlier, the body lean, there's not too much, but it's not as composed, I gotta say, as a BMW 1 Series, nor the Abarth 595, but this is just straight smack in between them. It's still a comfortable car. And unlike the BMW 1 Series, this has tire noise, but it's not as loud as the 1 Series, since these are not on run flats. I don't even know the brand of this tire. And what else? Yeah, the handling, I see why Jerry uses this as his daily. It's pretty sharp. So the sport mode, by nothing changes with the handling. I think it's just more on the gearbox itself. And also being on par with the competition, it's ground clearance. Going over the notorious humps here in BGC, very easy. No problem whatsoever. I don't even have to make the S maneuver anymore. I'm staggered with this NVH. It's really good. I mean, look, low speed, usually you can hear the diesel drone. Like, example, only like the New Ranger I reviewed and the Strada as well. You do hear it, but this one, I mean, look. Alright, I'm gonna floor it just a bit. There, you can hear it ever so slightly. That's really cool. Oh, God. So also, last thing before I leave, this exact car is for sale All the details will be in the description down below. It's around 920,000 pesos. If you wanna jumpstart your project card, I highly recommend this exact Peugeot 308 diesel. So I'd like to thank JR for making this review possible, and hopefully I will get the modern Peugeots on my channel very soon. So hope you guys like and subscribe. Oh, by the way, the Peugeot special series of this, we're not done yet. We will have a part 2 very soon. So stay tuned for that. Bye bye.